Thank you for joining us for this repertoire podcast. And now, your host, Scott Adams.
Hey, everybody, Scott Adams here. This is another podcast in the Hall of Fame 2026 series. And today I have Jon Wells, who is the president at Midmark, on with us. And Jon is such a great guy, but he's also a good friend. And so it's fun to have these conversations with folks I've known for a long time. He's been at Midmark for 35 years and I've been in the industry for 30. So we've known each other a while and it's a really cool conversation and we try to keep it very conversational. So hope you enjoy it. And here we go with Jon Wells. Jon, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And let me just start by saying congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It is going to be a fun night, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm sure you are, but congratulations, my friend. Well deserved.
Well, thank you, Scott, and I'll just have to mention how much we appreciate Share Moving Media and the work you do. This doesn't happen um, on its own, and you've really been pillar in the industry and moving this forward for so many years. So I'm honored, I'm thrilled, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Before we get into kind of leadership and legacy and talking about the Hall of Fame and the other two individuals going in this year, I want to just, Jon, tell me and the audience kind of your origin, kind of your beginning story, kind of to from then to where we are now.
Well, I'll begin with I really, even graduating from Ohio State, I didn't think I was going to be working in healthcare at all. I'll just say that. Even after graduating college, what drove me was being part of something that built meaningful things. And so building things what I really enjoyed doing. I'll just say that. So I studied architecture and was just thrilled by the idea that what you design actually gets built and used for many years, and things that are well designed, you can tell. And so that really engaged me. And when I came to Midmark, I actually worked directly with architects around the country. So I was traveling around the country and realized this industry is different. The work isn't academic, abstract, and whatnot. It really affects clinicians, patients, and healthcare. And it brought me in. And then what really shaped me from that point was then I was being in the field. I was a sales rep in Atlanta for a number of years, engaging with customers and distributors, learning what gets in their way, and really seeing firsthand how that last mile matters. And it's more than moving products. It's relationships, trust from distributors, trust from clinicians. Think differently, think about their spaces. Little differences of what they've done in the past can make a big difference in delivering healthcare, and that really just engaged me. So within my career, I've just been building things, whether it's products, departments, even people who support Midmark, and that's always been a tenet that's driven me.
Yeah, it's interesting to go from the architectural piece and then end up in a company that very much is driven by design and making things easier and better for one patient outcomes, but also for the clinician just on the day to day. So what a cool kind of transition from what you went to school for, which by the
Yep.
way, your school has a lot of NIL money. So you've done a little better than my school. Uh, um, this is obviously a Hall of Fame podcast, and I'd be remiss if I didn't let you speak a little bit to the Hall of Fame and kind of the other two gentlemen going in, and
Yeah,
just your
absolutely.
thoughts around and not to dote on the Hall of Fame itself, but just you've got some Midmark alum that are in there, and just kind of what it means to you.
Well, I consider it a celebration of the industry. I do. There's so many great people who show up every day to do this important work and make a difference. And personally, it's humbling. To your point, it isn't about me. It's really Midmark, reflective of Midmark and the people and the history and the distribution partners and customers that I've had the privilege to work with for so many years. So many great people, all focused on improving healthcare, and the Hall of Fame really represents this community for so many who've committed their careers to moving healthcare forward. So I'm just grateful to be a part of it. And I also, I'll say, see somewhat of a responsibility to continue this, driving it forward and learning and helping the next generation grow, succeed, and move it forward as well. So I've still got a lot of work to do, even
Oh
though the
yeah.
Hall of Fame is present.
Right before I got on the podcast with you, I walked out and just went through the wall because we have all the plaques
Oh
are
yeah,
on
yeah.
at our entrance, and just some of the men and women that are on that wall and how impressive they've been over the years and just the things they've brought to the industry. And one of the ones I saw was Kitzmiller. You
I
know,
saw Don Kitzmiller Saturday night. I did.
did you?
So yes,
How's Don doing?
he's doing good. He was doing good. He was great. So it's always nice to
Yeah,
see Don in the
he's
community.
always a character.
Yes, he's still a character. I'll just say.
You guys are known for clinical and innovation, but you mentioned distribution earlier. Talk a little bit about how you guys have brought products to market with distribution in mind.
Well, I mean, distribution is the front line of Midmark. We'll say it's where strategy and execution kind of meets reality, where truly the reality of how the business moves forward. It amplifies who Midmark is to thousands of customers each and every day. And so, the feedback from distributors because of that last mile is critically important to us. We value it. We just feel that information, the seamless implementations, fewer obstacles, all of those things during, after the sale, support. The distributors are truly an extension of Midmark, and we believe that from day one. So we just we're thrilled with having such a strong distribution network.
I interviewed Joe Grisbo from Braun last week on his Hall of Fame podcast, and one of the things that we talked about in depth was how just when you think you're through something else happens in our industry that just sets you on your ear. Talk about the different eras that you've been in the industry and been in leadership through it. What are some of the things that maybe help fundamentally change the way you lead? And about what I'm talking about, John, is everything from Obamacare to COVID to all of the stuff that
Yeah,
we've dealt with,
yeah.
the dot-com boom in 2000. I mean, it seems like every 2 to 3 years, there's something else we're facing as an industry.
Well, the in the '90s it was managed care,
Yeah.
and that changed a lot of thinking for a while, and then it kind of moved back. Consolidation of customers and consolidation of small practices into hospitals, consolidation of distributors over the years. There was a because of that, the consolidation of customers. We also saw a change from promotions and deals to
Yeah.
contracts, and we love promotions. So that was that was a very difficult one. We had to detox on the promotions and learn how to manage through contracts, which we did. But it took a lot of transitional effort for us to really feel confident in managing contracts as opposed to promotional deals. So now through that period, and this just in the last few years, I've transitioned. There's a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck, and it's all about the growth mindset and the struggles we have and the things that are in front of us, we learn from, and it makes us stronger. And so I'm a big believer. It's a great book. It's been out for a number of years, but it really looks at every opportunity as a way to learn and build your mastery. And frankly, the pandemic, I'll just,
Yeah.
that tested all of us. We have obviously the medical business, we have a dental business that the dental practices shut down for 2 months. And so at the end of the day, we can't predict, what the next black swan will be. And so the best way to manage black swan events is having a really strong leadership team. And we proved that at Midmark, and it just made us even stronger as we're moving forward. So we think we're ready for just about anything. The tariffs hit, and we were like, we can handle this. We'll manage through this, and we got it. And so from Liberation Day to today, we handled it with a lot of confidence, And not to say we didn't have the confidence before the pandemic, but it would have been different. It would have been different. So it's these transitions are going to occur in any business, but we certainly had our share over the last 5 to 10 years. I'll say that.
That's for sure. When I think about Midmark and I think about your organization and this is my 30th year in the industry, and just watching you guys from when I was on the manufacturing side to when I was at NDC to even this last 17, 18 years at Repertoire, I hold you in the highest regard as supporter of distribution and just how you guys come at it. And I remember your promos, your quarterly promos, and they were very in sync and they were so successful. It's so complex today. And I talk about the complexity at national meetings all the time of our industry and kind of where things are. How, from a leadership standpoint, do you manage kind of having that vision for long term, but then also the day to day to help distribution in the front line?
Well, we have a 5-year rolling strategy. So as the years move on, we continue to move forward, and we've done a very good job at defining this in a pretty granular way, at least for the first 3 years, and then after that, it's a little more directional. But that 5-year rolling strategy helped us understand decisions we're making today, how they'll impact us in 2 and 3 years out, which is we were used to be very 1 year, 2 year focused.
Sure.
Now we still have an annual budget. So our tactics and the things we're doing to deliver our budget is still in that 1 year window. But that balance between these two, that's where our vision, our mission, our strategies, our strat vectors all come into play. But you really need to be very open and honest and taking in all of this information and kind of a brutal reality of what's real and what's not in order to make decisions that are 2 and 3 years where you're going to benefit from. So in the day-to-day items, we very much rely on our distributors to help us with those realities. In the month-to-month and year-to-year, that's where we are picking those up and supporting and making those longer-term decisions and those bigger investments. I mean, our facilities and we had our expansion of our factory last year as well. So a lot of things that we're planning for the long term, but it all is based on those day-to-day touch points we have with our distributors and our customers.
Jon, did you guys use an outside group to help you with that? Like coming up with, hey, we're going to plan 5 years out, or is that just internal and it's just how you guys manage the business?
It's internal. It's internal. It's a classic LRP, long range plan, and you have to develop. I'll just say you have to develop some confidence with it over time because as a leadership team, there are some leaders who live in the future and they feel comfortable there, and some don't. Some are very tactical, just getting through today, and over time, as you start to see things that you made decisions, you see things come to life that you were expecting, 2 or 3 years out, all of a sudden the confidence changes. And then you're able to move on longer term decisions with a lot more ease and confidence in regard to because we're a capital heavy industry. We've got factories and facilities and people and hard goods and whatnot. So these decisions take a lot of capital to bring them to life. But you do have to have a management team that has confidence in living like that and day to day.
Yeah, I think about that from a manufacturer standpoint with a hungry factory that you got to feed, and whether or not to add lines, take lines down, whatever, you got to have that forward thinking, and I think it's a gift for those who have the ability to do it for sure.
Go
ahead.
I would just say we have a great team, and we're very cautious about how we're investing on our lines and where we double up and where we pull back. And we're able to, we have a number of lines in for sales, and we're able to pull people off different lines if they're a little slower, and others, are accelerating, and we do it with a lot of skill and I would say precision as well. So we've gotten really good at it over many years. And so we really leverage that as a strategic advantage that we have in the marketplace.
Kind of sticking with the leadership theme here, Coach Saban talks about all the time that he learned most of his lessons from not winning or hard knocks. And talk a little bit about maybe some of your lessons you've learned over the years from maybe a hard lesson you learned and how it's changed your leadership style.
There, when I saw this question, Scott, there's one that comes to mind, and it's really around how fast one can move, how fast I moved. And I've been in the company a long time, 35 years. And so there are a lot of roles I played, and I made a lot of decisions along the way, and I became very comfortable in making decisions. But what I found was when I would move on to another role, I wasn't necessarily leaving the group behind with that skill. They weren't building, I was making the decisions and moving and so what I found, I needed to work through them and have them make more decisions and supporting them. Now, it took a bit more time, but when I leave a department, I measure myself how well a department is functioning without me being around,
Yeah.
frankly. And I kind of lived off that energy and making decisions in the past, and I had to really grow and work through others. I'll say that. And that was a big change for me because I just I mean, my value was making decisions.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, we have to let others make decisions. And while it sounds great and easy, but you're in the moment of living in the moment of a situation, you can't help but try to you get involved and make decisions, and that takes that growing opportunity away from others. So that was a big change for me that I had to learn over the years. So
It's all about building trust with them too, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
When I think about trust, I think about kind of the trust between manufacturers and distributors. And how have you seen that evolve over the last decade or so?
Well, going back even a little further, I mean, trust used to be how quick you've responded to voicemails,
Yeah.
and making those
Pager.
calls at 8 o'clock at night, and digging deep to get all those calls in, and ship dates and quality. Those are those still matter, but really the partnership and the transparency on what we're going through as companies and in the industry is that to be able to share those things and help each other move forward and support our customers. I think over the past 5 years, distributors have to manage so much more complexity than they did. I mean, the pandemic and PPE and vaccines and all of those things that are kind of ebb and flow. And then here we are with capital, and it's just it's not a high velocity kind
Right.
of a product. And so having those relationships are helping the distributors service their customers in the best possible way and helping us manage that as well. It's been great. So it takes time. It has to be reinforced constantly. It's not a day-to-day thing, but it's close. It's close, and we're always here for our distributors, and we'll listen. And sometimes the news isn't great for us or for them, but we know that we're here, and we'll always pick up the phone and we'll work through it the best we can, and we always land on the other side.
So, John, I got to talk to Matt Bourne about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were talking about the Hall of Fame and a couple other things, and we kind of got sidebarred. And I think what was supposed to be a 5-minute conversation ended up being about a 30-minute conversation just on the industry and things we're both seeing. But one of the cool things that we both recognize is, there's probably 250 to 300 just new under 25-year-old distribution reps that are going to need training and understanding. And, I think you guys are so good at it. All this young blood coming into the industry. What are some areas you see some collaboration with them? I mean, let's put your 5-year crystal ball hat on, and what opportunities do you see that are out there?
Well, for Midmark, we deliver ecosystems on the front line of care. It's the workflows. It's not just a product or discrete products. It's really something that we use internally. The project is the product. So the project is the product. So getting that practice up and running and getting it running in a good functional way is important. So when I think about the younger generation of salespeople coming online, I think of having, rather than just selling a product, it's thinking about what that clinician is going through, what work are they doing, and then how this product or product design can really make their life easier and solve that problem. There's a lot of collaboration. You have to ask questions. You have to, ask more questions than you probably feel comfortable with, but that builds trust. And then once they see the results of that work, then you become, much more of an asset for them. Meaning that clinic or that hospital system needs you involved to help them with the next problem or the next situation. So problem solvers, I'd say, but I like thinking about it just conceptually as the project is the product. So rather than individual, it's like, how can I help this project land in a very good way and in a more of a holistic approach to viewing the solutions and things that connect the space, technology, and then these workflows, because they all come together. And I think it's just a different way of looking at what we do. I'll say for Midmark, rather than selling tables and the promotions we used to talk about
Right.
as well, sterilizers and tables and whatnot.
Yeah, I think if I had a son going into this space as a distribution rep, my first thing that I would tell him is find your Midmark rep and get in the car with them and go let them show you how
Well,
they call on accounts. And I don't say that because I'm on a podcast with you. I genuinely mean it. It's the first thing that I would do as a distribution rep, because I think you guys are so good at asking questions and learning, what are the issues facing these practices and clinicians and healthcare spaces. So
yeah,
it's
well,
a lot of
I
opportunity
appreciate
there.
you sharing that. That's great to hear.
Absolutely.
That really.
One of the things, John, when we talk about legacy, is what is something that you want to be remembered that you stood for, maybe versus something that you accomplished.
Yeah, that's always a tough one.
This one
I'd
came from
say,
Graham, my editor.
is it okay? Well, thank him for me. I'd say, I kind of strong work ethic is kind of my thing. Integrity, I'm always beyond reproach, always kind of take the high road just to make sure that there's no doubt that there's sincerity in thought and in the inputs that I give. You spoke of design and empathy. We consider design empathy. It's really the same, where it's empathy for design of a space for a clinician, empathy of what they're doing, and in these different businesses, it's very different how they're managing that, and just listening and understanding what they need and really working to satisfy that. So at the end of the day, it's really how I worked with others and listened and earned trust and stayed focused on building things, I guess. Just keep moving forward. I'm always, this next week is different than this week. And so I've always kind of pushed a little bit. So maybe I push a little too much here and there, but that's my thing.
That's why you are where you are, my friend. From an outsider looking in, John, you're all those things, in my opinion. I would say you definitely have stood for that. You've always been so good to us, and can't be more thankful to you and to Midmark and the whole team there. As we close here, and I love closing with this question. Tell me a little bit about maybe one or two of your mentors over the years.
Well, I guess a personal, it's, I'd say my father, who is a hardworking guy, a plant manager. You just got to get up and you got to get it. You got to get it done. If you don't do it, it don't get done. That was kind of a farmer line in our area. And that was definitely his approach. My wife, Suzanne, we have 4 kids. Her support of me through all of the work and travel in my career has been amazing. So, just amazing. And so professionally, when I worked construction for 7 years through high school and college, and Randy Greavy, he told me I was conscientious. And then in my later years, when I was working summers, I was running projects. So I just didn't, it just kind of came to me. But he was a very positive influence on me through those years. And then in Midmark, Polly Grow, for my first day over 35 years ago, I sat down by Polly, and she's still here today.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, Polly's still here today and still leading here, and she's fantastic. And then Don Kitzmiller, obviously,
Kids.
and Joe Rothstein and Ann, who helped me develop as a leader. She's been amazing, and she's our chair as we move forward. And even like Rob Sarin on the external, he was
That's
just
great.
a fantastic mentor to me and on boards, and I can't say enough about Rob and these people in the industry that have just supported me. So it's more than one or two. I apologize, but I couldn't
Nah.
whittle it down. But I'd say each, influenced me in a different part of my career and really made me who I am. So
That's awesome, John. I appreciate you taking time with me today. And man, I can't tell you how congratulations. You so deserve this. And thank you so much for just who you are.
well, thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. You're awesome. And I wish I had a better golf game whenever we golf together. I
Don't
was
we, don't
got
we all?
straight, and I'm like, I'm doing. I need a strong battery on the cart for me. But all that being said, I'm thrilled and looking forward to being in Atlanta here in a couple months.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. Hopefully, we'll have a little warmer weather.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep. Same here. You take care.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
What a cool conversation. And that guy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. No doubt. I am so thankful that John got inducted and will be going into the Hall of Fame here April 16th in Atlanta, Georgia. We have sent the save the dates out. If you haven't seen them, be looking in the daily news. We have a banner ad in there every day that you can click to buy your tickets or sponsor a table. Hope to see you here in Atlanta on April 16th to induct these three wonderful individuals. Have a great day.